documents with the representatives.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Keogh, before we proceed, could you tell the jury a little bit more about your construction background? Mr. Willard asked you about Hawk and Hawk Enterprises. Could you tell them what you did before that?
In 1985, I joined the Carpenter's Apprenticeship Program. That was a 4-year program. I graduated from that, worked for a couple different union contractors. I hired on with Golf Construction, who was a large general contractor here in Crown Point, Maryville. And I had worked for them for 10 years as a general superintendent. And then I came to work for Hall.
And in the 10 years that you were at Golf, did you serve as a superintendent for a general contractor?
Yes. The last 7 of those 10 years were as a general superintendent. Before that, were a Carpenter foreman.
Tell the jury some of the projects that you did during those 7 years as a superintendent at Golf. What sort of things?
We did a lot of large high schools. We did the Sand Creek Country Club in Chesterton. That was about a $7.5 million project. We did Coffee Creek in Chesterton. That was a little over $14 million. The Dyer Nursing Home was over $8 million. Different hospitals, schools, gas stations, hotels.
Are the projects that you did with Golf similar to what you were doing for Hawk with City Center?
Yes.
So did you have experience and expertise in serving as a site superintendent for a general contractor building a project such as City Center?
Yes.
Now, I want to address a couple of things that Mr. Woodward raised with you first. You remember, take your red binder, please. Could you turn to tab 54, exhibit 54. Anybody asked you about that email?
Yes.
What's the date of that email?
June 12th, 06.
And did you understand that Michelle Stevenson at Construction Loan Administration didn't understand why there was a reduction from 601,459 to 426,051 for Rex?
Yes.
Did you understand why?
No, I did not.
Did you make that reduction?
No.
And this was on June 12th, wasn't it?
Correct.
Let's remember that date. June 12th is going to be significant. Could you turn to the joint binder, and I'm sorry to make you keep going around here. And could you turn to tab 30? Would it be helpful for you if I put it up on the screen, or is it not visible?
Fine. This is fine.
Okay. I want you to look at the first line there, site work Rex Construction.
Okay.
How much is listed as prior payments?
It was $538,483.
And how much is this draw request?
$62,976.
Can you add that up for me? And I have a pen, or you can use a chalkboard, whatever is easiest. That's the jury's exhibits. I can't have you right on here.
Great.
You want a calculator?
Sure.
Okay,
What number did you get?
612,540.
Here, let's do it in the is that easier? Now you switch back and forth. Okay, 5. And goes up. 538, 43.
38,483.
Plus 62,976.
597,459.
We'll do the changes here too, 539 plus 60.
So we're going to do that too?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Yes. Flip it down.
600.
I'm not quite sure what council's doing now. He's taking the calculator from the witness and he's perhaps testifying for himself.
Now let's turn to Exhibit 6. Tab A. Yes, in the white book.
If you want to give me a page number,
Let's go in here. Turn to tab 6. If you would. 6A, page 176. Is that draw 6 that you, City Center, emailed to Stephanie Swat?
Yes.
Could you turn to page 177? What's the total amount you have listed for prior payments for site work?
601,459.
601,459. Now, could you go back to tab 5A? I want you to double check your math, Mr. Keating. You see page 119?
Yes.
Could you add up 538, 43, previous payment plus the draw request?
Okay.
What'd you get?
600,459.
601,459?
Yes, sir.
So the draw request that you submitted in tab 5 on March 10th, page 119, if you add up the prior payment plus the draw request, you get 601,459.
Yes.
Now go back to tab 6A,
page 176.
page 177. What's the amount that you listed in your draw 6 for prior payments?
$601,459.
So what you submitted matched exactly the previous draw, didn't it?
Yes.
Now, March 12th, this was before Ms. Steger was involved, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you recall we talked earlier, we've heard Ms. Steger talk about the May 19th email that she sent, the number of questions that she wanted to ask?
Yes.
And did you meet with Ms. Steger?
Yes.
Did she tell you that she wanted equity broken out
The buildings?
on the sworn statement?
Yes.
Now let's talk about that for a minute. City Center paid for a lot of the site work, didn't it?
Yes.
So City Center paid money to Rex Construction,
Yes.
and that's reflected in the $601,459?
Objection. He has to ask questions. He makes statements continuously.
I've
It's
rephrased.
argumentative.
All right, rephrase.
Is the payments that City Center made to Rex reflected in this $601,459?
Yes.
Now let's go back to the revised sworn. Do you have that?
Good faith.
Is it 119?
20. I'm sorry, 210.
Okay.
And it's going 209 first. Do you see when this revised was emailed?
June 26, 2006.
So you would send your original drawing with the $601,459 on May 12th before Ms. Steiger was involved.
Objection is not a question.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And you had a meeting with her.
Yes.
She wanted equity broken out.
Objection is not a question.
And then did she break it out for you?
Yes.
And did you have to then submit a revised sworn?
Yes.
That's what's reflected here on 209, revised number 6.
Objection, that's not a question.
Yes.
It's foundational, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Could you turn to the next
he's going to have to
page?
ask a question that's subject to an answer. He can't make statements.
He's asking her, did she?
He did not ask. He made a statement.
I'll move on, Your Honor. Could you turn to the next page, 210?
Okay.
Do you see on 210 that this amount is reduced to 426?
Yes.
Do you know how that happened?
No.
And then could you go down to the bottom? You see there's an equity line that's been added for $380,000.
Yes.
Do you have any idea where that came from?
No, I don't.
And some of the equity that City Center paid in was used to pay Rex, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, did Mrs. Steiger ever explain how she's broken out this equity paid in from the payments that have been made to Rex or the other subs?
Objection, it assumes
No.
facts, not evidence. It assumes that she's the one that broke it out.
Your Honor,
There's no evidence that she broke that out.
the witnesses testified that she provided the equity breakdowns.
There's no evidence that she did the breakout on the sworn construction statement.
Maybe might want to get a little bit of foundation.
Sure, we can go back. We'll cover it again. Did Ms. Steiger tell you she wanted the equity broken out?
Yes.
Did she tell you how she wanted it broken out?
No.
Did it make any sense to you how she was doing it?
No.
Did you prepare this number, 426,054?
No.
Did you prepare this number, 380,434?
No.
Are those numbers that you got from Ms. Steiger and Fifth Third?
Yes.
Did anybody tell you how they prepared those numbers?
No.
So, here you are a month later in June, still trying to get your 6th draw request funded. Are you doing what the bank is asking of you?
Yes.
And did it make sense to you?
No.
Did you have to do it to get your subs paid?
Yes.
So turning back to tab 54 in the red book. So we can leave 210 up there. And this is just, again, the email from June 12th. Are those the numbers that were provided to you by Ms. Steiger? $426,051?
Yes.
Did they make any sense to the Fifth Third Construction Loan Administration Department either?
Objection, cause for speculation
Well,
as to what someone else knew.
you got an email from them, didn't you?
Yes.
Was it your impression that even the Construction Loan Administration understood the breakout that Joan Steiger had been providing?
Objection, his impression is irrelevant.
Overruled.
It appears she didn't understand it either.
Ms. Steiger didn't like this deal, did she?
Objection, it's already been answered. Speculative, witness is incompetent to answer that.
Well, what do you base it on?
Based upon your meeting with Ms. Steiger, this initial meeting, was it your impression that she liked this deal?
Objection, it calls for speculation as to what someone else thought.
What'd she say?
Well, let's talk about that. Could you turn to tab 90 of the Red Book? Page 3417. Proposal number 1. The first time you met with Ms. Steiger, did she tell you to go find another bank?
Yes.
So when she says end loan financing for building 2 number 5, she's saying go get somebody else to finance this.
Objection, that's not what
Is that
that
what you
says.
understand?
End loan is after the construction loan is complete. It's argumentative, lack of foundation, calls for speculation, witness is incompetent. The answer to that question.
Ms. Steiger has testified that this was her note, that she had that discussion at the June meeting, their first meeting with my clients. And I'm asking them if they had that discussion, if that's what she said.
Okay.
She's provided the foundation.
All he needs to say is, what did she say? And he doesn't have to question the witness.
That's the question. What did she say?
Sure. What did she say? That first meeting about finding a new bank.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
To look for a new bank.
From the time she got involved, is it your understanding she didn't want this deal?
Objection.
This specs deal, not hers?
Yes.
Is that what she told him?
Did she tell you she didn't want this deal?
In no uncertain terms, sir, yes.
I move to strike for the answer.
Well, did she? That's what she told him. That's what he said she told
Well, I
him.
said, he has to, if he's going to make a party statement, he has to say what they said. Not in no certain terms or what his impression was, what she thought. He has to repeat verbatim what she said. If he can't do it, he can't testify.
I'm not aware of any rule that says you have to repeat verbatim.
It's the hearsay rule. It's 803.
Well, she's a party opponent.
No, she's not. It's not that-
She's an agent of the party.
She wasn't a managerial employee. That hasn't been shown.
She was still an agent working with this.
That hasn't been shown either.
Yeah, this is the witness that came here and testified in court. These are-
Overruled. Proceed.
Let's move on to something else. You remember you were asked about the construction budget.
Yes.
And let's take a look at that. We can pick any one of the tabs before draw 6.
Page 178.
I'm going to use the same one, Mr. Woodward did. Tab 27, that's the law number 2 sworn statement, isn't it? Now, you as a general contractor had to come up with a budget for the site and the first floor drawings.
Yes.
Is it important for you to stay in that budget?
Yes.
And what's worse, being under budget or over budget?
Over.
Is being under budget a good thing?
Yes.
Was City Center Hawk ever going to get any of the money paid to it that's allocated to each of the subs here?
No.
So, Mr. Woodward used the example of Lazaro. Let's start with Lazaro. You see there you have doors and windows,
Yes.
and you had a budget of what?
$468,652.
And what happens if windows and doors are more than that?
I would assume that would have to come out of City Center to pay the difference.
Is that what we were talking about earlier on? And if you're over a particular line item, then City Center's called upon to bring in more equity.
Yes.
So you have to estimate the costs for all doors and windows and live within that budget.
Yes.
And if you come in under that budget, your customer's happy,
Yes.
and the bank's happy.
Yes.
Now, the first building that you were building was building 2. We've taken the comment, right?
Yes.
That's this building right here.
Yes.
Who are the tenants on the first floor of that building? Back in, when you first completed it?
Cold Stone Creamery, Anytime Fitness, Jeep Grill were on the first floor.
All right, now, Anytime Fitness, tell the jury, what was Anytime Fitness?
It was about a 5,000 square foot fitness facility that you would have a key card to, and you could run it by the door, and you could go in and out as you please 24 hours a day.
And Z Grill, what was that?
Restaurant, bar.
And about how many square feet did they take?
I think they were around 3,000, 3,200.
And then finally, Cold Stone Creamery.
Yeah, ice cream shop, they took the remainder.
Did each of those tenants have one front door, main entrance?
Yes.
Now let's take a look at tab 88. That's the contract for Lazaro Glass, isn't it?
Yes.
Could you turn to page 4504.
Okay.
You see that has the items broken down that comprise that $65,455?
Yes.
And you get 8 doors, is that right?
Yes.
So you've got 3 businesses downstairs, you've got the upstairs, and you've got 8 doors.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to ask you to go back and forth here. Keep that handy. You can take the white binder and look at tab 17.
It's not the same page number. It's not 45.
Do you have that?
Yes.
And is that the drawings prepared by Falk?
Yes.
And how many units are in the prototype drawing?
Like 16?
16 per building?
Yes.
So, what happens if you have 16 units? How many doors do you need?
We need 16.
Now let's look back at 4504. Was I going to give you $16 for the same price as 8?
No.
If you go back to the bank and say, you know what, I only bid $65,000 for the doors because I only had 8 tenants in building 2, now I need more. Is that something that a competent general contractor would do?
No.
Do you need to estimate what you're going to need for the entire project?
Yes.
And did you believe your estimate of $468,652 that appears in the budget you gave was a reasonable conservative estimate?
Yes.
In other words, that's the number that you thought City Center could meet.
Yes.
You believe it has 16 tenants in some buildings and 8 in others.
Yes.
So putting together a construction budget is more than just copying the number off of a contract.
Yes.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Then you were also asked about C&B Steel. Remember that?
Yes.
Could you look at tab 83? That was the bid for the prototype building, wasn't it?
Yes.
And how much was that bid?
$88,000.
And when did you get that?
June 24th, 2005.
Now, what's that number times 4? I'll give you Mr. Woodward's calculator back. And to be fair, I guess there's a $3,000 reduction, so it's $85,000 times 4, right?
Yes.
What's 85,000 times 4?
$340,000.
340,000. Could you take a look at tab 84? You had specific drawings done for Hawk's Nest, didn't you? Building 6?
Yes.
And how much was the bid for the steel for Hawk's Nest?
$85,000.
I'm looking here at 4490.
$139,200.
So the steel for building 6 was going to be 139,000.
Yes.
Now, if the steel came in at 139,000 for all 4 buildings, how much would that be?
$556,000.
556,000. So the one bid gives you 340,000, the other gives you 556.
Yes.
Could you go back to tab 27? That's your budget. What number did you use?
$468,000.
So 468,000, you used a number that was less than 139,000 that was bid specifically for building 6, but more than the 88,000 for the prototype.
Yes.
Did you believe the number that you used was a reasonable conservative number that City Center could meet for the steel for all 4 buildings?
Yes.
If you had done what Mr. Woodward said, 85 times 4, 340,000, where would that have left City Center?
We've been short.
Would a reasonable prudent contractor have listed 340,000 to take the number off the contract?
I think you would have added to it so you weren't going to be short.
That wasn't my question, sir. Would a reasonable and prudent contractor have listed $340,000 for steel with the bids that you had?
No.
Because you would have been short?
Yes.
Based upon your years' experience and expertise as a superintendent, did you believe the $468,000 was a good conservative number that City Center could meet?
Yes.
Let's talk now about the use. Remember we were asked about the use and the particular codes and what have you?
Yes.
Do you have tab 34 in front of you?
Page number 542.
Before you started with the project, how was this project contemplated? What use?
Rephrase that.
Sure. What was the use of this project going to be as of November 9th, 2004?
We could do multi-use.
And we've heard multi-use, mixed use. What does that mean?
Commercial, retail, and residential on the same building.
Could you look at Exhibit 101? It's the very last page of the red binder. Page 1250. Let me show you one. I'm sorry.
Exhibit 102 you're talking about?
I believe it's 101, Your Honor.
Let's have it.
Do you all have 101 in your book?
I have 98, then I go to 102.
This was,
I didn't get it.
I don't think the jurors have it
Yes, happy
either.
to put that in the very first.
Sorry, baby.
Exhibit
We were
101.
given that separately.
Why am I?
Did
Did you already have
We
them?
were given separately.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm sure I can find a copy.
Do you have an exhibit 101?
I have 101.
And this is,
They have,
this is,
The plan,
show the jury what was.
101 and 102 in my book.
looks like this.
we never had that. We never had. 101 that we were given yesterday and asked to add to our books and then into the black book.
Yeah.
Into the black